Always, and today we're reacting to why Wake Up Dead Man is the best Knives Out yet. I'll be honest with you guys, I've been gone for a while, right? And I do apologize. On this channel I didn't actually post that much. It's only like 2 videos, but still was not my intention to not be here. And I even tried out doing shorts, and I don't understand why I did that. I understand why I did that, you know what I'm saying? It was more like the hype train. But now I'm back to what I usually do, you know what I'm saying? That was not English. I usually do basically reacting to videos that are on the internet. And on this channel, I just want to react to anything that's about books and movies and series and all those things. So if you're all about that, come through and let's enjoy ourselves. And without further ado, let's dala. Okay, that was weird. I don't know why I did that, but you know what I'm saying.
The murder mystery genre contains endless avenues for exploration, and writer-director Rian Johnson seems to be on a one-man mission to traverse them all. Wake Up Dead Man is the third entry into Johnson's Knives Out series, established with the 2019 feature that shares the same name and 2022's Glass Onion. While each Knives Out film technically exists as a standalone from the others, the connective tissue comes from sharing a murderous plot, an ensemble cast of strange suspects, and our smooth-talking, intuition-based detective, Benoit Blanc. Where Knives Out took aim at the self-righteousness of the modern upper class, and Glass Onion found fun in jabbing at tech bro culture and billionaire worship, the third entry in the series twists the genre towards something different by confronting how religion can be weaponized through fear and cruelty, and then by showing the restorative power of grace and forgiveness in a culture shaped by divisiveness. The movie takes place in Our Lady of Perpetual Fortitude, a small parish in upstate New York. Father Judd Duplessis, played by Josh O'Connor, is sent to assist Monsignor Jefferson Wicks. Judd's a former boxer who calls himself young, dumb, and full of Christ, and he finds himself in upstate New York as a form of absolution after he punched a rude deacon. Judd quickly finds that his new boss, who insists on being called Monsignor instead of Father, has weaponized his position in the church alongside his strong personality to create a cult-like devotion from his congregation. The congregation are all the kinds of people who can be strung into a cult of personality: a successful attorney with no soul, an aspiring conservative influencer, a disgruntled sci-fi writer who's past his prime, a grieving alcoholic doctor.
Ouch. Yeah, man, I like this video. I mean, I like this movie a lot. Mostly because like I could see myself in some of these things. I'm not even a religious person, but it was really good. It was a good movie, especially with the rights. I was like, damn, is that gonna be me in the future? I was like, yeah, that was not nice to that was nice to watch, but also like, yeah, I just hope that's not me in the future. We don't know, but like, yo, I just hope. But yeah, it was a good video. I mean, a good movie, and I'm definitely like, there's certain parts where I think he's gonna say certain things. I'm just gonna interject, be like, you're wrong. This is what it actually meant, in my opinion. So yeah, be ready for that.
And a renowned cellist with chronic pain issues who looks to faith for healing. They're the kinds of characters whose vulnerabilities feed Wicks's hunger for domination.
Yeah.
Some of them are admittedly underwritten, but their collective dynamic is enough to make the parish feel like a petty, vindictive micro-society. Into this scene comes Father Judd, carrying with him a kind of compassion and patience that's foreign to this parish. He sees each of them as people who needs to be healed without the kind of rage, condemnation, or deception that Wicks embodies.
Oh, and oh yeah, there's gonna be spoilers. I think in most of the videos I'm gonna be watching, there's gonna be spoilers. So if you wanna watch these things, go and watch them. And if you are just one of those type that don't give a fuck about spoilers, you sick bastard, stay and enjoy. You know what I'm saying?
This inner circle does not take kindly to Father Judd's gentler approach, especially when he organizes a prayer meeting without the Monsignor's oversight. Likewise, Wicks immediately sees Judd as a threat and subjects him to games of psychological torment, while at the same time constantly undermining Judd's authority. Judd already struggles with the anger within him, and this kind of taunting pushes him dangerously close to punching another member of the church. It's this tense atmosphere that also makes Judd the prime suspect when the Monsignor is fatally stabbed in church, because as with any Knives Out mystery, one member of this dysfunctional group has to end up dead to spark the plot forward. After Wicks delivers his Good Friday address, he's fatally stabbed in a small room located just outside the congregation's view. So here comes Benoit Blanc to investigate the scene. Of all the Knives Out films, this one focuses less on our iconic detective. In the first installment of the series, Blanc shows up just 6 minutes into the film. In the second, he pops up after 11.5 minutes playing Among Us. Here, Johnson holds his detective back until the 40th minute. Blanc understandably takes
No, I did like that decision. I really like that decision because it made me like feel for the characters more than I would have. Because then, but the first two, right? I know I'm supposed to be caring about the characters, the possible suspects, but I don't care. I really don't care. I just care about what my nigga Blanc is gonna find out. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. But with this one, I'm like, please, Blanc, please find out the truth, and please don't it be this guy that I was actually watching for 40 minutes. Don't it be him. Please don't let it be him. So it was good, man. It was good. It really. Is it the best? I do like the first one more though. But okay, wait, let's see if it's gonna change, man. But like the first one was hitting, bro. The first one was hitting.
Back seat to allow the burdened, earnest Reverend stand at the forefront exploring the film's themes. Reverend Judd is in a constant state of agony, agonizing over the role of faith in the world, over Wicks's behavior, and now over the murder scandal that implicates him as the only reasonable suspect. The thing is, we kinda know from the start that Judd isn't the one who killed Wicks, partly for how the scene takes place, but also because Johnson never signals that the film will pull the rug out from under us by revealing its most compassionate figure as the true villain. Making Judd the murderer would reduce the entire story to bleak irony, and Wake Up Dead Man is far too invested in resisting that worldview. Johnson offers instead a rare kind of religious drama.
Yeah, but at the time, let's be honest, at the time, I suspect that he might have done it, bro. Like maybe maybe done it very like intricate and all that, and like the movie used to like show us. It would show us that, oh no, maybe he did do it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he did do it. So yes, the movie did also good by almost making it seem like, oh wait, the person that you trust might actually not be the person that you think he is. So yeah, man. Again, there's gonna be a lot of spoilers here. Even me talking is a big spoiler. So yeah, dog.
One that exposes how faith can be distorted without dismissing the people who still hold it sincerely, whether they're believers, doubters, or somewhere in between. Judd's perspective, earnest to the point of innocence, opens a space where anyone can belong, a small pocket of shelter within a community otherwise swallowed by paranoia, deceit, and fear. Judd becomes less of a suspect and more of a partner to Blanc in the investigation, buddy cop style. As they search the church for clues, each man deploys their particular set of skills. Blanc in all of the Knives Out films shows a kind of intuition that's built from deduction and skepticism. Judd here has the same kind of intuition, but it's built from faith and understanding the core of his parish. Despite these two being natural opposites, there's a mutual respect between them that allows for conversation to take center stage instead of investigation. Johnson stages their partnership like a well-calibrated duet. When Blanc's push for answers risks halting the investigation, Judd's refusal to reduce people to clues recenters their search. And when Judd's tenderness threatens to muddy who's actually responsible, Blanc's insistence on accountability reintroduces moral clarity. This interplay keeps the film morally interesting while not losing scope of the murder mystery at its center. Wake Up Dead Man works so well both as a detective story and a study of faith because Johnson's willingness to shift the center of gravity away from Blanc and towards Judd. Blanc is still magnetic in all the ways we love, yet this is the first entry where he isn't the gravitational force around which everything turns. The story rearranges itself around Judd's vocation instead, and in doing so, Johnson reframes what kind of story this is. The question guiding the investigation shifts from who committed the crime to what kind of moral world produced it. Once the film commits to that shift, the parish itself becomes the real crime scene, a place where belief is practiced, tested, and distorted long before a body ever appears. At the center of this story sits a parish where two competing visions of religious leadership persist. On one side you have Monsignor Jefferson Wicks, who governs by theatrical denunciation and cultivated outrage. Wicks treats his sermons as performance. He singles out parishioners, names their faults, and waits for their exits, because to him their departures prove that his sermons are effective. We're told that
he reminded me of a lot of politicians and some like television, basically those people on television that just make basically sermons. He reminded me of that when I was watching it. That's why I was like, yo, and me personally speaking, right, I'm not somebody that likes those people. I don't like them at all, because I know the game they are playing and how manipulative they are and how much power they have over people, bro. It's something that since I was a kid I just did not like, bro. I think it's part of the reason why I'm not really religious. So yeah, watching it was delicious to me. You know what I'm saying? If it was food, if this movie was food, I would ask for thirds, fourths, and fifths. You know what I'm saying? I didn't watch it again, but like, because of course I'm doing things, guys. Come on, you know I'm busy. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was good. It was really good. You should watch it if you didn't watch it. Please watch it now. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, let's carry on.
He's always aiming for at least one walkout, and we get scenes of upset people storming out. Wix's aggressive style serves a few narrative and personal purposes. First, it triggers a sense of fear of his wrath. This serves to not only drive away those who he believes aren't living in perfect conformity with Catholic teaching, but also to solidify his loyal followers' sense of belonging and superiority. Second, it shows how Wix bends Christ into his image rather than allowing himself to be shaped by Christ. Johnson is incredibly literal with the iconography surrounding him. This is a man who believes he stands above everyone else. That posture mirrors the way some of the most insecure men and women use religion as a tool for personal gain, exploiting the weak and those in need in the process, and leaving them brainwashed, hollowed out, and ultimately more lost than they were before they even entered the congregation. As with any cult of personality, the illusion of moral authority eventually fractures under the weight of ordinary human failure. When that fracture comes, it shatters the faith of those who trusted him, leaving his followers feeling betrayed not only by their priest, but by God itself. That collapse is crucial to how the film asks for empathy. These parishioners may present as rigid, smug, or cruel, yet they are also people who have been pulled into a carefully constructed performance that promises belonging while exploiting them. That dynamic doesn't stop at individual manipulation. It opens onto a larger tension within the church itself. The film captures a real ideological divide that extends through religious hierarchy and into broader culture. It's the same divide that flooded social media during the most recent Pope election, when infographics mapped cardinals along political axes, progressive or traditional. Johnson recognizes that this split isn't confined to theology. It's a cultural fault line between those who treat belief as something to be enforced.
And in my opinion, it's weird. I mean, yes, the Catholic Church has had a lot of influence on European culture, right? Even like they still have it now, right? They still have some say, right? But for us to literally be like, no, man, I think this Pope is good because he's very left in his leaning. But no, I believe like this Pope is good because, like, bro, shouldn't you be worried that, like, can the Pope really do their job properly? Can the Pope, like, take the reins from the previous Pope and do the most? Like, can he improve the world, or at least try to make it stable to religion? What are we talking about here? Trying to be all political and things, right? It's about religion. But then again, some people believe that politics without religion doesn't make sense. But the whole point of like that, what they call it, I don't remember the Man. Was it the Mann Act? Probably the Mann Act, where they basically where they separated religion from state. But some people always think that religion and state is the same thing, because it does have that type of influence on a lot of people, right? A religious leader saying something, maybe like saying, I don't know, quote unquote, Jews are evil, right? That would galvanize a lot of people to believe that Jews are evil intrinsically, because if you don't believe it, then you don't believe in the faith, right? That's kind of a cult of personality type of thing. But yeah, man.
And those who understand it as something sustained through patience, humility, and listening. If Wix presents all of the negatives of priesthood, Judd, played with remarkable sensitivity and restraint by Josh O'Connor, embodies what it still can aspire to be. The film pits these two men against each other, with Wix insisting that followers of Christ need to fight to reclaim what's lost, whereas Judd argues that the path forward is through compassion. In one of Judd's first scenes, he says, "You start fighting wolves and everyone around you becomes a wolf." Judd's idealism is tested not only by a congregation drawn to cruelty and certainty, but by an institution that has learned to protect authority even when it it rots. And of course, there's still a murder case happening all throughout these moral and ideological explorations. Johnson in many ways keeps the machinery of investigation humming, but he lets Judd's religious responsibility interrupt its clean trajectory. There's a moment where Judd and Blanc work in perfect tandem. Judd is on the phone with a woman who might hold the key to clearing his name, while Blanc keeps pushing him to keep her focused. The call meanders, time is slipping away, and Judd's irritation begins to show. Then her voice breaks slightly. She recognizes the person on the other end of the line is calling not as an investigator, but as a priest.
Oh, ish.
This line halts him. What begins as a search for a lead becomes a moment where Judd's calling redefines the scene,
Beautiful
and the
scene.
investigation must halt, however briefly, to the work of caring for a wounded stranger. Judd treats this plea as a reminder of what his job really should be. Under a weaker writer, this character on the other side of the phone would just be another vessel for the investigation to unfold. But here, she's Louise, a woman whose mother is in the hospital. Judd steps away from the investigation to listen to Louise and to pray with her over the phone. The threat of prison still shadows over him, yet in this moment both Judd and the audience step outside the mechanics of the mystery. He acts out of the goodness of his heart, despite being treated as someone capable of the worst. It's here that I really have to praise Josh O'Connor for how precisely he calibrates Father Judd. It's a role that demands sincerity without drifting into obliviousness, and vulnerability without slipping into irony. O'Connor finds the rare middle path, giving Judd an openness that still carries the weight of someone who has known violence and sworn it off. Johnson supports this by refusing to present Judd as a simple saint. Judd's temper flickers under strain, and the pressure placed on him throughout the story exposes the limits of his patience. The film becomes in part a study of whether we can hold fast to the vocation he has chosen while the world around him tightens the screws. What emerges as a protagonist defined not by triumph, but by persistence, someone who keeps tending to people even as suspicion threatens to unravel him. It's
Beautiful.
true that the ending in classic Knives Out fashion leans heavily on explanation, pulling the narrative threads together in a way that may lack the spark of the first film's reveal. Still, this entry offers the series' most compelling shakeup. The initial eruption of violence inside the parish sets a tone that is both theatrical and unsettling, but the film is anchored by an introspection that carries long past the final confession. When the first Knives Out came to theaters back in 2019, it felt a bit like someone had brushed off the dust to a genre and shown how sharp it could look again. Johnson took the classic murder mystery and injected it with a modern life that felt refreshing. He carried that structural confidence into Glass Onion, although he shifted the target. This time the story stepped into the orbit of tech bros and the uber rich. The film looked brighter and moved faster, but some viewers, including myself, felt that it lost the nuance of the first in favor of spectacle. The lavish...
Yeah, and that's why I liked the first one more when we compare to the second one. But now when he's explaining the third one to me much more, I'm like, yeah, this one is there. But I'm still not shaken with my decision. That's the problem. I'm still not shaken. But we have, like, I know, 4 more minutes, and then maybe, you know what I'm saying, maybe I'll change my mind after 4 minutes, which is that's what she said. I can't believe I'm still making those type of jokes. What the frick? How old am I? Sorry, let's carry on. Sorry, I'm so stupid.
Island setting and the broad comedic tone overwhelms the emotional stakes, leaving the story feeling slightly weightless despite its ambitions. Wake Up Dead Man feels like Johnson course-correcting on that approach. The film moves away from the grandiose island filled with over-the-top personalities into a smaller parish with slightly toned-down characters. The characters here still exist as examples of some of the more absurd people you would come across in society, but there's more complexity brought out through their relationship to Wicks and religion as a whole. This small tonal shift gives the story a different energy, making it less glossy and more intimate. Within that shift sits Father Judd, who gives the film a new kind of anchor. Blanc has always worked best when paired with someone whose moral instinct pushes against the darkness of the case, and Judd fills that role with a unique sense of vulnerability. He isn't a neutral observer or a quick-witted outsider, he's someone whose own calling is being tested moment by moment. Part of why Judd feels so relatable is because Johnson threads pieces of his own history into the character. In interviews around the film, he's spoken about growing up surrounded by intense religious influence and later wrestling with what pieces of that upbringing still matter to him. That tension between one's conviction and what to hold on to in this world sits inside Judd's every choice. Blanc, with his confidence and measured worldview, responds to that tension with curiosity rather than dismissal. Their dynamic never reduces either man to cliche. Instead, they form a conversation that feels like Johnson working through questions he still cares about. That ongoing dialogue is where the film's pulse really settles. The plot moves with steady momentum, but the scenes that linger are the ones where Judd and Blanc circle the meaning of truth, justice, and faith. They aren't opponents, they're two people trying to understand what the other person sees. At times their back and forth feels like an invitation to the audience to consider the same questions without rushing towards an easy answer. The story gives them space to disagree without turning their disagreements into a spectacle or a feud. There's a generosity in that approach, and it shapes the entire mood of the film. Johnson has talked about how he wanted to see if a murder investigation could hold a sincere dialogue about belief. I think this film shows that it can. The best films about faith aren't those that berate you to believe or persuade you to doubt, but ones that get at the heart of faith itself. Blanc and Judd are the opposite ends of the rational religious paradigm, yet despite being in the middle of a murder investigation, there's so many moments of deep respect between the two of them. They may disagree, but it never comes with superiority or disdain. Beyond faith, this is one of the major issues with civil discussion nowadays. People aren't able to engage with ideas that they simply disagree with without bouncing to feverish attacks of the other. Johnson understands.
Not even that. Have you ever seen like debate videos where like the topic, not even the topic that's really the thing. Like the title of the video is liberal destroys Democrat. Democrat destroys liberal. Christian destroys or Christians something that's violent to Muslim or Jewish, or you know what I'm saying. It's like it's never liberal and Democrat. No, I'm saying Democrat, liberal and Republican, liberal conservative or Republican coming together to discuss something, right? Or Christian and Islam and is your dog. But you get what I'm saying? Like Islamic person comes together to find disagreements, in what's going on or in their religion or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not good with the titles that you can see my titles. My titles are ass, guys. You know that already. But you get what I'm trying to say. It's never anything. It's like conversations, even if they have so many similarities, right? I think with them having more similarities, that's when people are willing to like attack more, right? Because let's be honest here, liberal and conservative, what they have in common, they're both Americans. Why you're fighting like you're not the siblings? You know what I'm saying? Why you're fighting like you're not siblings? Same thing with Christianity and Islam. You're like from the same root. You're like from the same religion, same cloth, but you're like fighting like, hey, bro. But you know what I'm saying? That's more different because like they have a history of fighting, the Christians and Islamic people. So. But you get what I'm saying.
Stands that unless we replace the personal attacks and vitriol with actual conversations, we might be doomed. Here, his absurd side characters serve a great purpose. These hardcore religious enthusiasts are people who are so stuck in their ways that they're not only selfish, but they're unable to talk to one another with humanity. The film is built on the necessity of empathy and forgiveness, arguing that everyone is worthy of them. And frankly, the film is spot on. This goes way beyond religion, even if it echoes scripture. It's about our shared humanity. At the end of the day, we are the people who hold the power of grace in this world, whether or not some higher power is watching. It's remarkable that 3 films into this series, Johnson has found a new way to flip the genre. Despite all of the murder mystery and gothic elements of the story, it still manages to ground itself in the humanity of its characters. He treats mysteries seriously, whether they're the classic whodunit puzzles or the harder questions of faith. Even as the film swings wildly between detective story and character study, it manages to find perhaps the strongest meaning out of any of the Knives Out films. In Wake Up Dead Man, Johnson is exploring something a bit more profound than just the mechanics of mystery or the satire of the wealthy. Don't get it twisted, the pleasure of watching Benoit Blanc work and all the surprising revelations that you expect from this series are still very much here. Johnson's most personal entry into the Knives Out world still proves to be very entertaining, but the real crime in Wake Up Dead Man isn't murder. It's the way fear turns belief into a weapon, and our need to offer grace and forgiveness as alternatives for the cruelty and division that thrives when fear rules.
Beautiful video. Beautiful video. I'll be honest with you. That was a very good video, guys. What do you think? So for the people that are here with me, thank you for watching the rest of the video. And if you haven't watched the movie, for the love of everything that's great in the world, please watch the movie. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's really good. But yeah, man. Thank you for watching the rest of the video. Thank you for chilling with your own. Comment, like, subscribe. Until next time, I've been the Lost One. We out.